Everton found it tough in front of their own fans in the opening months of the season. They did beat Villa in the last one here, and we are off and underway then at Goodison Park today. Everton in the famous blue, West Ham in their change colours today in the white, but both importantly, Jenna, come into this on the back of a win last weekend.
Yeah, two massive results for both teams, and there's not much between these teams at all. And today, I think the game comes at a good time. Both teams have to give absolutely everything at it and try and distance themselves from Leicester City, who find themselves now planted at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, Leicester's goal difference taking a significant setback with that defeat against Manchester City on Friday. So that was good news for West Ham. They have been down there, of course, themselves for much of the season, but 2 wins in the last 3 have them potentially looking upwards rather than over their shoulder. They're not quite in that type of territory yet, but we will know more after this one. Just 3 points, 1 place separating these sides at the start. And the start of the game is going to be really interesting, isn't it? Confidence high after recent results, particularly last weekend. I'm sure West Ham finishing it so strongly. Remarkably, the latest comeback in WSL history to win a game from 2 goals down, with those 3 that they scored in the last 8 minutes.
Absolutely, and I think West Ham, they won't want to start a game like that again and put themselves in a position where they have to climb back into it. But like you say, to come back from 2-0 down, I think you'd be happy with a draw at that point so late on in the game, but they didn't. They had that belief. They smelt, you know, that Brighton were feeling vulnerable across that back line, and they took that opportunity. So yeah, that was a huge turnaround, and no doubt they'll be full of confidence coming into today.
Losing out in potentially dangerous territory to Gabaro, another whose confidence will have been lifted by that goal last weekend for Everton. Now Hannah Blundell forward from fullback. Another of the recent arrivals joining in January on loan from Manchester United, making a 4th straight start at fullback. Guarino, yeah, saying the West Ham group has been full of confidence, very energetic training this week off the back of that remarkable victory.
Oh, they would have been absolutely buzzing. I think the manner in which they turned that game around, like you say, the confidence, the energy, the come down from those highs would have taken something, but no doubt they're fully focused now, and a result like that gives them that belief that they can dig results out.
Yeah, key components certainly, but Guarino made that point that they have to be fully focused on this. Can't get too carried away with what happened a week ago. They've certainly had their defensive issues all season long, and that defence coming under pressure. Gabaro taking a touch and going for it. Ambitious, audacious effort, and not too far away.
No, creative effort there, just outside the box. It's in the air. Just uses pure instinct there just to loop the ball over, set herself up, but she's leaning back. A good effort.
That winner at London City last week for Inma Gabaro, coming 497 days after she suffered the cruciate ligament injury right at the start, really, of her Everton career. Went out back to her former club, Sevilla, on loan. The start of this season, she said to find herself again, to rediscover form and fitness, and she's returned in some style.
Absolutely, she had a tough time. You touched on the ACL, just a devastating injury, and you know, she's gone back to her girlhood club to find that love and that form for football, and a new manager, interim manager here, and she's got off the ground running there with the winning goal last week.
Yeah, returned, she said, with a smile on her face, and that was certainly the case a week ago. Everton fans starting to finally see the player now that they initially signed, who was sidelined for so long. Back with Brosnan. It was in the summer of 2021 when she left West Ham for Everton. She's in fine form right now. All the stats last week were in favour of London City Lionesses, apart from the one that mattered. The Lionesses had 17 shots at goal compared to Everton's 8. Much more of the possession. Everton with a lower XG, but they found the way to win. Can they build on it here? Can they make it 3 wins in a row in the WSL? For the first time in over 3 years. That was an awkward one, though, for Martina Fernandez.
It's clever. from Ueki. Wondala there out on the right-hand side fires the pass, and Ueki really, really clever. She feels the challenge coming in. She's just easing the ball with the outside of her boot. Now this is a dangerous area to concede a free kick.
Yeah, Fernandez back trying to do the day job under pressure. She was the match winner in the last home game. Both of the goals in the victory against Villa, her first 2 goals for the club, in a season in which she's played every minute in the WSL. So Hanshaw standing over this. Plenty of options in white in the middle as well. Straight through it goes, though, to Courtney Brosnan, who was not extended by that.
Yeah, comfortable, Courtney Brosnan at that near post. But there is the first glimpse of what West Ham do offer through that right-hand side with Wondala, that pace on the counter-attack to release Ueki. That's what's been West Ham's strength and where they've had a lot of luck in the second half of this season.
They've certainly got a real goal threat about this side. Their issues for most of the season have been at the other end in finding that balance. Touch in there for Riko Ueki. Confirmed a couple of days ago she will be part of Japan's squad for the Asia Cup. West Ham are set to lose 3 players due to international duty. But Ueki will be linking up with 3 Evertonians who are all in that Japanese squad as well, including the former West Ham player Hanoka Hayashi, another like Brosnan who's just signed a new Everton deal in recent weeks. Starts against them today. Fernandez has given that one away. Straight to Wondala. They will take on Kitagawa. Trying to get back to her feet first. The referee, Megan Wilson, content to let it continue. But some early questions being asked of the Everton defence.
Yeah, can't seem to clear their lines there. At first it was a loose pass from Fernandez, caught in two minds, and Wondala does excellent there, using both feet. Her power, claiming for the free kick, but early signs from Wondala how effective she is out on that right-hand side. Everton have got to tidy up across that back line.
Well, they come forward on the counter. Barrow had options. This is Momiki. Outside of her is Hannah Blundell. Time to look up and deliver, and surely it's Hayashi. Left with a straightforward finish to score against her former club. Score her 4th goal of the season. And Everton, who've been under some early pressure, are in front 8 minutes in.
Yeah, it's end to end. This time Everton punishing on the counter-attack. It's Hannah Blundell out on the right-hand side. Everton committing bodies forward. It's a perfectly weighted ball, and Blundell takes it first time, and Hayashi at the back post times her run perfectly. She's unmarked, not a West Ham player near her, and it's a simple finish into the net. Don't think she'll have an easier goal to score there at the back post. There it is, Hayashi, unmarked at the back post, makes no mistake. Questionable defending again from West Ham.
Well, a player who joined from the Hammers in the summer of 2024. He signed a new Everton contract this week. Comes up with a 4th goal of the season. First since scoring in defeat here against Arsenal in the middle of December. Wasn't going to miss that one, though. And Everton looking for this 3rd straight win, remember, for the first time in over 3 years, have the ideal start, despite the fact that it had been West Ham applying most of the early pressure.
Yeah, I think when West Ham, their style of play, that counter-attack, they commit bodies forward and they do it so well, but you're always left vulnerable at the back. And we saw exactly that.
Well, they look to try and respond with Asai, last week's match winner in stoppage time. And they came back from 2 behind. The way this game has started, you would suspect a fair few more twists and turns to come. Everton struggling to get it clear, but Hayashi is then able to do so. There's been an instant response from the visitors, picking up really where they left off before the concession of that goal.
think for Everton now, they just need to manage the next 5 minutes, just calm the game down a little bit. They have been under that pressure, taken their one chance very, very well. West Ham have picked up where they left off. They've got bodies forward.
Who's covering here is Cascarino. Had to get to that first and did. With the new arrivals, Estelle Cascarino. There's Hanshaw. Joined last January from Roma. Finds Asei. Looking for Wandela. Cut out by Kitagawa. Katie Zellen just touching it wider. Martinez was the target more centrally. It will be a corner kick to come for West Ham.
Courtney Brosnan last week had to defend 11 corners in the first half and did it so well. Dominates that 6-yard box. Her team will need her to be just as dominant in there today, up against the goal threats of Martinez, Sei and Ueki.
So Zalem takes it into the feet of Siren and gets it back again. Still plenty waiting in the middle. Boston getting an important touch to that. And it had gone behind. It will be another one on the other side.
Yeah, come out. Dominant. Really strong punch there. There's Martinez and Ueki waiting at the back post, unmarked.
Yeah, London City Lionesses went into double figures for corners by 37 minutes last weekend, weren't they?
It's quite incredible, really. But in Courtney Brosnan, you've got a keeper who years and years of experience, world class. Probably doesn't get the plaudits that she does deserve.
West Ham will try and test her out again, but not from that one. It didn't get that far, and it was comfortably cleared away on the near post. There's Hansen. It was the 4th January signing under Rito Guarino when brought in from Bayern at the back.
Hansen and Cascarino have been brought in to tighten up and bring some stability to that back line that has been far too vulnerable this season.
Did lose a couple of key players defensively, of course, in the winter window as well. And Cisak going to Union Berlin and Anouk Denton to Bay FC in the NWSL. Both goal scorers actually when these sides last met in East London at the start of the season. Hanshaw. West Ham have won the last 2 meetings between these clubs, but they were both on home soil. No victories in their last 5 trips to Everton. First one for them here at Goodison Park. Cascarino forward. So he made the run. She has a little luck in the referee's direction, claiming she was clipped there up against Ruby Mace.
And that'll be a really good battle today. Ruby Mace has really grown this season, turned into a leader for this Everton team, playing it out of position at centre-back. Scott Phelan has spoke about how impressive she has been, how much she's grown, and you know, where he sees the future of her possibly playing in that number 8 position, but due to injuries, and Everton have been hit by a lot of injuries, especially last year. But yeah, in Ruby Mace, you've got a young English player who's really risen to the challenge and has become a leader very quickly for this Everton team.
Yeah, certainly showing her versatility at the heart of defence, as she has spent most of the season. Debut off the bench in the derby win against Liverpool on the opening day of the season, and has started every league match for them since then. Despite leading, Everton haven't had too many forays forward so far. Hayashi got the goal back on the ball, working it wider. Deflection on the cross when it came, and that's a corner for the home side.
Yeah, patient play out there on the left-hand side from Everton, not forcing the ball in. West Ham initially defended it very well. Martinez doing her defensive duties, doubling up, tracking back. Everton didn't force anything, and now they've got a corner.
And he's highlighting that versatility we were touching on by going across to take it as well. Plenty to aim for in royal blue. There's a little wait before she can do so. So here it comes then. Ruby Mace with the delivery, a deeper one. Fernandez getting her head to it. It was flicked goalwards, but didn't quite have the space to squeeze it in from there. Claire Wheeler.
Yeah, good idea from Wheeler there at the near post, just trying to nudge it in to that near post. The angle was always very, very tight. Two West Ham players in front of her, but set piece routine there, straight from the training ground to the back post, nodded down.
Wheeler's another who came on as a substitute in that opening game and has started every match since in the WSL. Former favourite, of course, of Brian Sorensen, who she previously played for at Fortuna Sjoring as well. Has kept her place in what is the second game since Sorensen's departure under Scott Phelan, who's got the job until the end of the season. Interim coaching staff still really in the process of being assembled. Phil Jevons was added to it, I saw the other day.
Yeah, I think Scott Phelan is a man who's been with Everton for very, very many years. He's played at the club, he's been a captain, I think, of the under-18s team and now a coach there. So I think bringing someone in across to the women's side who lives and breathes, he knows, you know, the qualities that are needed from an Everton player, an Everton team, and to be able to install those values, bring a bit of stability to this team. I think it's a clever appointment for this stage in the season to see the team through until the summer.
Certainly got off to a fine start last weekend, and his team ahead again already today. Sorensen had been in situ since September of 2022, the longer service in this division up until his departure at the start of the month.
Yeah, he never had a smooth run, did he, with this Everton team, whether it be injury hit. It seemed like every season there was a new challenge for him, and I think this season they heavily invested in the summer, and with that came huge expectation, and when the results weren't coming, the frustration started to set in. And I think in this league, where we were talking pre-show about the amount of changes, managerial changes that have happened this season and probably over the last 18 months in the WSL, you know, managers aren't given that time, and he did have time over the years, and I think Everton ultimately felt they needed a change, and a change quickly to turn it around before the end of the season.
The signs have been positive for them. West Ham opting to make that managerial change themselves at the end of last year. Ryan Skinner departing. Staying in this division, though, very much the priority for the Hammers. A couple of points above the bottom club Leicester, who occupy that relegation playoff place right now. But they would be level on points with their opponents should they win this, although they are going to have to do it the hard way and come back from behind. A lot of the ball they might have had so far, West Ham United, but they trail. And as we saw last week, that certainly doesn't mean the end of the story, and it's a point that has been made pretty regularly in the last few days. What last week has done for West Ham is give them the belief that when they do go behind, as they have done in games like this, they can still go on and win it.
Absolutely, and you know, to do it so late towards the end of the match will give them that confidence. But I think you don't ever want to put yourself in this position. You know, they started on the front foot, they were dominating up until that goal. They've just got to not switch off in those moments, because they do commit the bodies forward. They've just got to have players that are clever enough to recognise to sit back, to help with those defensive duties, because in this league we see time and time again that you can't afford to switch off at any point, because you will get punished at the other end of the pitch. But absolutely, they've got that belief that they can turn any game around, but they'll just make things very difficult for themselves.
Yeah, they all feel unfortunate, you would imagine, to be behind at this point, given how the game has gone, but Everton clinical in taking their chance. It's over to those in white to try and respond here. For all of that West Ham possession, they've managed just the one shot at goal so far. That's something that stands out from the first 20 minutes. There's Cascarino. Back to King Šemić, who is still without a clean sheet this season. Confirmation that that run would continue came early. And the Blundell. Didn't see what she was trying with a through ball aimed for Gabaro, but straight through it goes to Šemić.
Yeah, Gabaro started to make the run off the shoulder of the defender and then stopped. Space was in behind there, but I think the West Ham had a good line.
Chase on for Asai. Ruby Mace going with it. Does have some support here. Did Asai, but it falls favourably for those in blue.
I'm sure had made the run beyond Asai. Overlapping run, and as a result, ended up getting in the way of the delivery into the box. It's on different pages there, Asai and Hanshaw.
Yeah, the support didn't quite work as intended, did it, in that particular occasion? So we head towards the midway point of this first half. Hanshaw was again the target for that one, but Mamiki had it and gets it back again. More threateningly, and that was awkward for Šemić. Kept in play here by Wheeler. And West Ham able to breathe a sigh of relief as they come clear with that one through Cascarino, but that was really all of their own making.
It was a dangerous ball. It landed just in the penalty box. Šemić had come, and Hansen, no communication there across the back line at all, and they almost ended up in blushes. Thankfully, they've managed to clear the danger, but need to be better there in those defensive moments. Šemić's coming for it. You'd hope she would have called for it and come and claimed it, but a little bit of confusion there across the back line, and I think Everton will sniff that now.
There's those sort of individual errors that cost them dearly earlier on in the season. It was a source of great frustration, I'm sure, for Rhian Skinner in the opening couple of months of the campaign. Everton may be sensing their chance here. A couple in the penalty area had to be dealt with. It wasn't really initially. Gabaro's effort is saved by Šemić. They keep that one out. But West Ham are living dangerously right now, and Inma Gabaro would have been hopeful of adding to her goal last week.
Excellent run out on that left-hand side. Gabaro, good movement in the box. Hansel tries to clear the ball into the path, falls into the path of Gabriello, and Šemić there has to make the save. Using her feet, gets down, and West Ham live another day, but Everton definitely feel that this West Ham defensive line are rattled, and they've got to take advantage.
They're sensing their opportunity, aren't they? Here comes the corner kick, for which they have committed plenty forward. Nice to deliver deeper again towards Fernandez. One centre-back trying to find the other, not quite this time as it's scrambled away, but it should come again. Back in by Momiki. Evasive action taken. West Ham looking a little rattled at the back right now.
Yeah, I think you just need someone across that back line to take responsibility, a bit of leadership. You know, sometimes it's not always about playing the ball out nicely. You just need to clear your lines, relieve the pressure.
Too touch on that one for Wheeler. But that pressure has been beginning to build a bit.
Schmidt there, you just saw her to her teammates saying, calm down. I think they'll just slow the game down here now, West Ham. Get a few touches on the ball. There's the pass, caused the confusion. It was Hansen, probably didn't even look up there to see that her keeper had come off her line. Luckily for her, Schmidt managed to get a touch on it, but it could have been a really embarrassing moment for the defender.
Lapse of concentration, maybe lack of communication. They just about survived the scare. Wanderer. Support from Endo over there. Sheeran gets on the end of that. West Ham have it back, albeit they are forced back to halfway. The early concession this afternoon means it's 29 consecutive WSL away games in which they failed to keep a clean sheet, an extension of what is already a record in this division.
Yeah, it's really not a good defensive record at all. I think what they do have, they've got players like Vandela, like Martinez, like say that, you know, you've always got goals in you, which is helping them out this season, I think. I think in that final third, they constantly contribute going forwards. They've got that pace, they look dangerous on the counter-attack, and I think that will be their survival key this season if you know, they get out of that relegation battle. But it's definitely something they need to improve on. They've got to start steadying the ship at the back and have a bit of consistency in their defending, because at the minute it is too easy to break them down.
They have conceded more than anybody else in the Barclays Women's Super League this season. Big part of the reason why they are where they are in the standings. It's the 35th goal of the campaign that they've conceded already. The one scored by Hayashi 8 minutes into this one. Still the difference. Endo will take the throw. She's the one that's come into the team today. The only change from last week, in place of Eva Nystrom. He's not involved, wasn't available, so Rita Guarino ahead of the match. She also made the point that it would change nothing really in terms of their principles and the way that they will approach the game. Hanshaw kept that in. Asai in support will win the free kick up against Hannah Blundell.
Yeah, she's done well, Asai there. Wasn't really going anywhere. Got up high to help her teammate out, and then just a little quick change of pace and direction, and Blundell commits the foul.
Yeah, clearly caught the West Ham captain. Blundell, who has set up the game's only goal so far, though, taking her opportunity at first team level, very much on the fringes at Manchester United in the first half of the season. So here goes the free kick into a dangerous area, dealt with decisively by Courtney Brosnan, but still the danger maybe. Hanshaw, oh, not quite.
You feel anything that's delivered into that box, Brosnan is going to deal with. I'd hope West Ham would recognise that early on and change the way they play a little bit. They've got the players that technically are excellent going forwards. Can they keep it on the floor? Can they just move the defence around? Because aerially, Brosnan tends to deal with everything very comfortably.
She has that air of authority, doesn't she? Commanding her own penalty area, which must help those in blue in front of her as well.
Definitely, and I think she doesn't come out half-hearted at all either. She, you know, she comes out, she gives everything, and she's always going to win that ball, whether it means taking out her teammates on the way. She'll always command that box. West Ham
trying to keep the pressure on high here, but Hanuka Hayashi was able to win it back. Now Wheeler alongside her comes away with the ball. Here's Vignola. Everton's top scorer this season, Ornella Vignola. 3 of the 4 came on opening weekend in the derby. Blundell. Mickey helping it into some space. Home side have just had time to get bodies back in blue behind the ball again. West Ham prioritising possession.
Yeah, I think that was... West Ham needed to continue there with that tempo, moving the ball a bit quicker. They didn't, and they've given Everton an opportunity to get back, get bodies behind the ball and get organised.
Half an hour in. Rita Guarino's team pressing and probing, but no end product as yet. Cascarino trying to mix it up, looking for the run of Wakey.
That final ball not there yet for West Ham in the final third.
Brings real experience with her, Estelle Cascarino. Rita Guarino was certainly busy in the transfer market during that winter window, reshaping the squad. Her first window at the helm. In terms of incomings and outgoings as well. Reunited, of course, with Katie Zellum, who she previously coached at Juventus. Brought in perhaps as cover in midfield in the knowledge that Katrina Gorry will be away on international duty shortly.
Yeah, a good sign in there for West Ham. Obviously, Zellum struggling for minutes at London City. Seems a sensible move, and as you say, a little bit of cover for those players they lose.
As I say, cut out at the expense of the corner by Hayashi. The presence in both boxes already in this first half. Gorry not involved today. She had started the first 14 games of the season, came off the bench last week. She will be away with Australia at the Asia Cup. Corner is fairly comfortably cleared. Despite the presence of plenty in the penalty area, they weren't really attacking it in white. It's Hanshaw. Again, they go back to keep hold of the ball. Now Hansen. Cabarro. This is Vignola. Starting to get a little bit more involved, but just couldn't quite keep hold of that. Effectively took 3 to stop her.
Again, West Ham win the ball back. They do well initially, and then it's almost forced forward. Just give the ball straight back to Everton. They start to build again.
There's Wheeler. Trying to hold off Say. Wheeler had continued her run. Does have it to feet here, not a lot of room in which to work, but was intent on asking the questions.
Don't think she was aware that SA was breathing down her neck. Wheeler did really well initially to get past Endo and SA there, doing her defensive duties, doubling up and getting back in the nick of the time, just to steal the ball off the foot of Wheeler.
Can the Hammers get out here? Now a little bit more space in which to operate for Verena Hanshaw. Here's Wakey. Blundell got something on it. May steps across. Forceful challenge.
Much better there from West Ham. Started with Siren just driving her team up the pitch. And instead of forcing it down the same side of the pitch, she recognises Hanshaw out on the left-hand side. In lots of space, and this delivery now has to be better into the box from West Ham.
Slightly deeper one this time, where SA was rising, got something on it, not quite enough on it. Wondler was importantly cut out by Cascarino. Wondler provides the cross over the head of Brosnan this time, but everybody else as well.
I think Brosnan got a shout there. She had her hands up like she was going to punch. There was no need in the end.
Well, it would mean so much to Everton, wouldn't it, if they could put back-to-back wins together at Goodison Park after the struggles that they had here at the start of the season, losing the first 6 since it became their permanent home. A victory over Villa in the last home game. Only the second time they have actually won at this iconic old stadium. They did previously play a derby game, beat Liverpool by 0-0 in November of 2024. Of course, Walton Hall Park was previously their home until this season. Eventually, though, you can see this move working out really well for them.
Definitely, and I think, you know, that if they can continue as they are and take points away from this game, that's 3 on a bounce. And, you know, it's amazing how quickly your fortunes can turn in this league and what that will do to this team, give them that confidence. And, you know, when a new manager comes in, it's, as a player, it can either go one of 2 ways, you know. It's a fresh start and, you know, a new opportunity for you, or you fall out of favour. But I think it's given these players that belief, and now they've definitely got that confidence off the back of 2 wins to kick-start and almost turn their season around.
And you look at the bench today, and you're right, they have had injury issues, of course, not just this season. Seems to have been a perennial problem for them, but there's a bit of depth there on the Everton bench this afternoon as well. Harper and Kramzar, the new signings in reserve. Plenty of experience in the likes of Aurora Galli and Mas Pacheco.
Absolutely, and that's key, I think. How strong the WSL is, you need your squad and you need that depth on the bench to be able to be successful. If you don't have that, you know, I think we saw that with Liverpool at the early stages of this season, where they were unable to, you know, name a full bench on so many occasions, and the games come thick and fast, and it's a really difficult position to be in. So yeah, it's great to have that strength and, as you say, experience on the bench for Everton today.
I wonder if at some stage we will see Kelly Gargo as well back in the squad after missing the last 3. Reportedly told French media that Everton had blocked a move to Paris Saint-Germain in the winter window. Brian Sorensen, in charge at the time, said if they'd met the release clause in her contract, of course she could have gone, but that wasn't the case. So she's been reintegrated into the matchday squad today.
Yeah, I mean, and she's a top player for Everton, a prolific number 9. So, you know, as you say, it's been blocked, the window's closed now, so hopefully a new manager in will get a glimpse of her and how effective she can be for this Everton team as well.
It's an interesting little subplot for the second half of the season, isn't it? That one going against Van Hool, who has been getting a run in the side as a starter in her first season since moving from Ajax. In the 11 for a 5th game running today, Rosa Van Hool. Just drifting a little bit at the moment. Everton won't be entirely concerned by that, given the lead that they have and how vulnerable at times West Ham have looked when they do come at them quickly, as they're looking to here, but it's taken away from Hayashi. Cascarino had read it well, and they looked for the captain, Vivian Asai. He will reach it. Support arriving in the middle. Asai still has it, trying to maybe create a glimpse of goal, and in the end it wasn't really one or the other, because she did have support by that point.
She did. She was just trying to find that extra yard, extra bit of space. I think Ruby Mace did very, very well, just standing her up, doesn't dive in, good positioning, and then she's there. She's backed up by a teammate, and in the end, Asai is almost forcing it. There's lots of blue shirts in front of her. Good defending from Ruby Mace. And that's the first real glimpse of Asai we've had in the penalty box there for West Ham. Looked dangerous going forward there, West Ham. It was a great ball through from Cascarino to spot the run of Asai.
Yeah, those are the positions they want to get her into, aren't they, where she can do the damage. 9 goals last season in the WSL, 13 in all competitions for Vivian Asay. Scored her second of the season with a winner last week against Brighton. Decision goes against Katie Zellum. On loan from London City for the remainder of the campaign. There's Blundell. Now Momiki. Hayashi. Wheeler. Didn't have a lot of time on the ball. Final 5 of the first half. Everton's slender early lead remaining intact. Despite plenty of possession, West Ham have infrequently threatened to change that, really.
Yeah, we've not really seen the best of West Ham going forwards. That dangerous threat that they normally pose on the counter-attack hasn't been there. The final pass just being loose or the quality not being good enough.
There goes Asay again. Did have support from Zellum. Nearly from Wakey, was attempting to return it that way.
Yeah, 6 Everton shirts there back, defending the box. Ueki couldn't really get hold of it, was always sliding.
Yeah, they've done that well, haven't they, Everton, defensively in this first half?
Yeah, they've got that stability there. They look disciplined, they look organised.
Options for them here. Miki trying to help it back. Kitagawa had continued her run, covered a lot of ground from left back.
Yeah, that was far too easy for Kitagawa, I felt there. She's burst through the middle of the pitch, breezed past West Ham players, I think about 3 West Ham players without a challenge. Far too easy.
Here's Hansen. Soldendo short with that. Vignola was able to get a foot in at the expense of the throw. 3 wins in their last 6 games in the WSL for Everton. They had gone 8 without one prior to that. Here they come again with Momiki. Again, you could see what she was trying there, just needed to be a little more precise to thread it through.
I think West Ham there defensively dealt with that well.
It does stay this way through to half-time. They'll both feel still, won't they, that they've got a chance to go on and win the game. There's Blundell. In advanced territory again. Cross well dealt with, coolly claimed by King of Shamik. At some cost, maybe, looking at that.
Yeah, I think it was Van Gogh made the run, got in front of her defender, and Shamik there's come out and almost bounced off the Everton player. But Blundell, again, doing really well, found herself in advance higher up the pitch many times, and there Shamik does really well, brave save.
It looks like a move that's working out well for Hannah Blundell so far. That January switch from Manchester United. Well, she wasn't getting regular game time, was she?
No, and I think, you know, she's probably one of the first names on the team sheet for Everton. Yeah, minutes, that experience that she brings, you know, obviously has won it all at Chelsea. A lot of experience at Man United as well. So, yeah, she's a huge asset and leader, I imagine, on for this Everton team.
9 major trophies to her name. Wheeler plays that one forward. Goalkeeper comes and claims. Flag has gone up anyway.
It's the type of teasing ball that caused a bit of chaos for the West Ham backline earlier on. This time Shamik comes early, good starting position, and takes control of that situation.
Last minute of the first 45 here. It does look increasingly likely that Everton are going to take this advantage into the interval. And they go in pursuit of more. Claire Wheeler. That's a good ball towards Vignola. She could reach it. Was quickly closed down though by Endo.
The fourth official has indicated there will be
Go into just a solitary minute of additional time at the end of this first half. Everton unable to build on their early lead, but equally, as we've mentioned, it hasn't come under great threat yet.
No, I think Everton have looked the better team going forward for sure. Hannah Blandell, as I previously mentioned, getting higher up the pitch on the right-hand side, is having a lot of joy. West Ham haven't really got going in the final third yet.
Could be their last chance, this, to change that before half-time. Martinez, they've not really been able to get into the game yet.
Yeah, I think she's normally at the heart of everything that West Ham do very well in the final third, and hasn't seen the ball as much as you'd like her to see, but as you know from last weekend, you can never write a West Ham team off with the likes of Asay, with the likes of Martinez in them.
Here's Martinez looking to clip in the cross towards Asay. Is there time to keep this attack alive? There isn't. That is half-time. And Everton ahead, as they have been since the early stages. 8 minutes in, when Hanuka Hayashi was left with a straightforward finish in front of goal to score against her former club. Make the most of the ball in from Blundell. Everton haven't been able to push on and extend their advantage since then, despite creating the better chances. But rarely has their lead come under significant threat yet. Although after what happened last week, who knows what the second half might bring. At Goodison Park, though, at the break, it is Everton 1, West Ham United 0.
Another player yet to see the best of yet.
Well, we are off and underway then for the second half at Goodison Park. Everton with the early lead, held from the 8th minute, scored by Hanuka Hayashi. A couple of seasons on Merseyside since swapping West Ham for Everton. Good season she's having. That goal actually matching her total of 4 from the whole of her first season with the Toffees. Another of those that will be away on international duty at the Asia Cup. And of course, not long after that competition, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations comes up as well. West Ham will lose Ines Balumu to that competition. Those are all challenges to navigate in the weeks to come, and part of the reason for some of the business done during the winter window as well, covering those absentees, part of the plan. So Asay will charge after this and get on the end of it and cuts it back. Nobody quite advanced enough in white to be able to reach it.
Better signs from West Ham there again. Starting this half as they did the first, on the front foot, moving the ball well.
Blundell who dealt with the danger, but it's Kitagawa who has since gone down. Hence the little stoppage here. And this was the reason why it was off the ball, wasn't it, that clash with Asay?
Yeah, it looked a painful one. Holding her mouth.
Another in her first season with Everton. There was a lot of business done in the summer. She arrived from the Swedish side Harken, starting a 4th consecutive game at left back. Let's have a look though at the match's major moment so far during this break in play. Hayashi getting the goal, wasn't going to miss that one.
No, absolutely not. And her teammate there as well was queuing up to tap it in as well. And, you know, from a West Ham perspective, they'll be really disappointed with that defending. Totally switched off, and Hayashi's taken a moment there at the back post, continuing her run in the right place at the right time. And, yeah, as you say, I don't think she'll have a more difficult goal to score this season.
She's only had one further touch, actually, in the opposition area since the goal, Hanuka Hayashi. Just checking on the well-being here of her compatriot Kitagawa. but a really important player for Everton. We mentioned at the start Courtney Brosnan's new contract, and of course that came hot on the heels of Hayashi signing an extended deal of her own.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so important when you've got those players, those key players that make your team tick, that you hold on to them. And yeah, they've got their rewards, and hopefully it gives them that confidence and to kick on. You know, the club have backed them. They see the potential in them and want them to be part of their future.
It's a bit more promising for Kitagawa here, back on her feet again. Scott Phelan we saw waiting for word, who has a little bit of history in his sights, by the way. No Everton manager has ever won their first 2 WSL games in charge of the club. They are over halfway there. And certainly in the context of the campaign, that would make a huge difference. Particularly important, isn't it, that they start winning here at Goodison Park, so back-to-back home wins just as important, if not more so, maybe. Yeah,
I mean, you always want your home ground to be a fortress and in front of your own fans to put on those performances, and I think a couple of wins and that confidence, they can turn this around. It's almost like a clean slate for them. There's still time, and we've seen that, and we've seen the impact that a new manager can bring in to the team, and so far, so good for Scott Phelan.
Who has such an affinity with this stadium, given how long he's been at Everton. The plan was initially to knock it down and redevelop it before it became the women's team's permanent home, part of a rethink, preserving that sense of history.
Yeah, I think I work in the football club, and I think it's so important when you've got people that know, you know, what it takes to be a player, what it takes to be a manager of a club like Everton. It's huge what they can bring.
And his team very much on the front foot at the moment. Hayashi working that one wider. No way through though for Cabarro. Only really just getting started in her Everton career belatedly after that injury that we referenced in the first half, that spell back in Spain at Sevilla on loan. The plan initially, I think, was for that to be for the season, wasn't it? But she was recalled at the end of last month.
Yeah, and I think you've seen some signs this afternoon of what a player she can be again, a young player who has had a positive impact really quickly on her return.
That goal last week will certainly make a major difference, you would imagine. Scored 4 times for Sevilla this season, 3 of those in the league in Spain. Different type of test for Everton today from the game at London City, when they were coming under real pressure for long spells. They didn't have a shot on target, actually, Everton, until this stage of the game. I think it was 52 minutes in when they troubled the target for the first time. Went on to get the only goal 10 minutes later.
I think one thing Everton have shown recently is that they can see out games. Obviously, the 1-0 against London City and then 2-1 against Villa. They're tight scorelines, but they've managed to find a way to use that experience that they've got in their teams to see results out. So they'll be looking to do that again now, just manage the game. As you know, 1-0 is a very risky scoreline. There's still a long way to go, so.
Yeah, not even 2-0 going into the last 8 minutes was enough for Brighton to get anything against the Hammers last week. But 1 was enough at the London City Lionesses for Everton. That in itself, their first back-to-back win in the WSL since December of 2023. Not enough on the clearance. Here's Wakey. Was able to spin and get the shot away, but by that point it was blocked. A little casual though just prior to that from those in blue.
Yeah, it's good play from Siren. She teed up like she was going to take the shot. Here you see her. Looks like she's going to pull the trigger. She doesn't. Finds the feet of her teammate. And then here, just a little bit of confusion this time from Everton. Ruby Mason-Brosnan.
A reminder for them, certainly. As Katie Zellum waits to take the corner kick. And does just wait for 1 or 2 others to make their moves. We'll now have to wait further on the referees say so.
It's the second time she's not happy with the ball, but Zellum gets the thumbs up.
Closer inspection, it's okay. Zellum will take it. Cleared away though by Hayashi. Not quite made the most of those situations, West Ham yet.
You see Martinez there just trying to flick the ball on, help the ball along into her teammates, but no nonsense defending from Everton. Just clear the lines and get your team higher up the pitch.
Yet to really have her chance, Shakira Martinez, having scored in 3 successive games for the second time this season. Comes for Weki, with back to goal, but made it hers. Support from Martinez, couple in the penalty area as well that she was looking to locate. Sheeran's shot is charged down, and maybe now comes the counter. Everton have options with Gabaro, and in space is Vignola. Time to assess her options whilst advancing. Ornella Vignola was denied though by Hansen, who did well.
Yeah, it was too slow. I thought the ball from Gabriello, there wasn't a lot of pace on it, and in time that slowed the counter-attack down, allowed West Ham to get bodies back behind the ball and stop the attack. That was a real moment there from Everton. If they could have got the pace of that ball right. Felt the pass from Gabriello was always behind the player, her teammate, making it difficult.
Yeah, otherwise it was on for them, wasn't it? They'll take heart from that, and that underlines the dangers really for West Ham applying the pressure that they need to do in pursuit of parity. It could come at a cost.
Well, and that's how they find themselves 1-0 down, isn't it? They committed bodies forward at one end and then were caught out at the other. So again, a reminder for West Ham, got to switch on in those transitions.
There's Kitagawa, who looks okay after that prolonged period of treatment a little bit earlier. Showing no obvious ill effects. Finding Hayashi, Momiki. Looking for Van Hool, the furthest advanced in blue, but just unable to get on the end of that one.
Yeah, West Ham making no mistakes there. There was 3 West Ham players around Van Gaal. Šimek again come out, commanded an area better from West Ham.
Finely balanced at the moment. Dell will go back to Brosnan. He'll certainly want the clean sheet today. The one last week at London City Lionesses was only her second of the season. Vignola did break her way, and she was able to wriggle away to play the pass where the Everton attack is thwarted by the flag.
That's great play from Vignola, just popping the ball between 2 West Ham players and then spots the run of Gabriela. Great feet here, really, really well worked. And then here just popping it through.
Seeing plenty of it at the moment, Vignola. Didn't quite come for Gabaro, instead it's Wakey for West Ham. Did have Martinez in space to her left there. She'd spotted her, couldn't quite locate her though.
Yeah, she's frustrated there. Play of Ueki's standards needs to be better.
Fernandez to Ruby Mace. Those are the 2 that combined for both of the goals in the victory over Villa in the last home game. Both came from Ruby Mace set pieces, didn't they? Both scored by her fellow centre-back. Scott Phelan will want to see a bit more from his team. He won't be feeling overly confident of seeing it through just yet, despite the fact they remain on course. Security of a second would certainly help.
Definitely, I think the next goal here will be really, really important. And as you say, West Ham know that while it's at this scoreline, they're still in it. Given the manner in which they turned the game around last week against Brighton, they'll have that belief that as long as there's seconds on the clock, they're still in with a chance.
They're just searching for their spark, really, aren't they, today? Guarino's team. Only Leicester and Liverpool taking fewer away points this season than the Hammers. They brought Morgan on at the break, yet to really influence the game, but taking up some positions where you can see how that might change. She's capable of providing the service from out wide, isn't she, if they can get the ball to her in the first place?
Yeah, not had much service yet. Her strengths of the ball at her feet and driving at defenders. She's not had the opportunity to do that yet.
There goes Mace. Nomiki. Now Hayashi. The Japanese combine again, but couldn't quite find her way through. Followed by Cascarino, looking to launch it long, but it will comfortably carry for Courtney Brosnan.
Just can't get Shakira Martinez in the game at the moment, can they? This time opting for the long ball over the top, but it was never really on. Everton was sitting quite deep in that moment. 3 defenders around Martinez.
Martinez closing down the keeper, but Brosnan keeping her composure. Brandell forward. Wakey dropping deeper. And actually giving that one away. Straight to Vignola. Vignola forward. Brought down beautifully by Gabaro and denied by the boot of Shamik. It's a really important save from the Polish goalkeeper.
Yeah, huge save, big save. West Ham defence almost stood still. They were playing for the offside, it wasn't on. And were nearly punished for stopping playing. Big opportunity there. And Yola again at the heart of it this time. Takes her touch inside. Gabriella, great first touch with the chest. Shamik does excellent. I think Gabriella there needs to do better. Almost fires it into the keeper. Big opportunity missed.
She did everything right up until the last little bit, hadn't she? The most important bit, I guess.
Brought it down beautifully on the chest. But there, West Ham, they can't switch off. They were playing for the offside. All the defenders put their arms in the air, but played on.
And her frustration is further fuelled now by a yellow card. First of the game, right in front of the referee, so Megan Wilson reaches for a book.
Yeah, she's putting it about there, Gabriella, isn't she? She's getting involved, she's doing the dirty work, she's tracking back for her team. That's ultimately what you want, pressing from the front, defending from the front.
First caution comes just over an hour in for Inma Gabaro. And it is an opportunity for West Ham from the free kick that will follow. They've committed plenty forward, all in a line just outside the area. Awaiting this delivery. Cleared away emphatically though by Everton. It's overhit. Over the head of Zellum and out. Just to mention at this juncture as well that the game due to follow this in the WSL between Brighton and Arsenal has been postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. Inspection by the referee after the removal of the pitch protection covers. The decision was made that game will not go ahead. Rearranged date will follow shortly. Still have over a quarter of this one to play, and it's still so fascinatingly poised, really. Everton with the early advantage, but neither side have quite been able to take charge since then.
Everton have looked probably the most dangerous of the two teams when going forwards. That was a huge chance for the young forward Gabrola there. Schmidt keeps her team in it with a big save. 2 big saves she's had now.
Yep. Yeah, that's the standout moment, really, the second half so far. The chance for Gabara. Beautifully done in the build-up, but denied impressively by Hayashi. See where this game has been played and how keenly contested it's been, and this falls beautifully into the path of Gabaro, in on goal again, and what a challenge to stop her from Cascarino. No margin for error in making it. She had to get that right and did.
Yeah, she redeems herself there. She's just got caught by that ball over the top. Does really well. Tracks back. She's almost got a hand on the shoulder. She doesn't make the tug. Times it perfectly and gets the block in at the right time. Excellent recovery from Cascarino.
And the recovery was key, wasn't it? Because, as you say, she was caught out of position there with the ball in behind.
Yeah, it's not the first time that ball's caused a bit of chaos for West Ham. When they're facing their own goal and the ball's in behind them, they've really struggled this afternoon.
Got this corner kick to defend. No Everton strength from set pieces. Trying something a bit different with this one. The whistle had gone just before the ball ended up in the net. A lot going on in the middle there. Too much for referee Wilson's liking. It was given against Kitagawa, I think, for the shove.
There's a lot, and Asai has also dragged one of the players down on the line. So hectic in there, lots of bodies.
Interesting with the change of corner kick taker there. And it was Ruby Macy set up the goal against Villa. And then set up the other with a free kick as well for Fernandez. Martinez. All the way through, and there could be space at the other end for Blundell. Feeling is readying a change, we hear, in the Everton midfield shortly. Going to get Aurora Galley on. As we head towards the midway point of this second half. Let's say, got the touch to it, didn't quite have control of it though up against Blundell. Everton had wanted the free kick there, which wasn't forthcoming, so Wakey works it wider for Morgan. And towards Martinez. Wakey again. And it had to be dealt with when the shot came in. Brosnan doing that, just shuffling it over the top and thwarting Katie Zellum.
Yeah, it was good play, good ball in initially from Morgan, and Ueki just setting Zellum up, and it's the swerve on it, I think, that takes Brosnan off guard. Gets across her goal and makes no mistakes, just parries it with both hands over the top of the bar.
Important contribution from the Everton captain at the expense of this corner. Zellum takes it, swings it in, and once again, we've said that before, both this afternoon and this season, Courtney Brosnan makes it hers.
Yeah, she stands tall there. She had 3 West Ham players around her, but made light work of it in the end.
Now Wheeler. Wasn't quite the touch that Gabaro had intended. But she will continue to scrap for this against Cascarino. That will give the home side the chance to make this change, to get Aurora Galley into the action. I think it's going to be in place of Van Hool. Let's see when the board goes up. Yep.
Substitution for Everton coming
Experienced
off,
introduction off the bench. Slightly different skill set that she will bring to the role in that Everton midfield.
She's a competitive midfielder, physical, strength, intelligence, and obviously that experience. Experienced head. Seems like a sensible change. For Van Gaal had been putting a good shift for her team.
Garley off the bench for the 4th time in 5 now. Didn't feature in the first half of the season. Bit of a problem for Say after that painful collision.
It's a great first touch. Just couldn't keep it in.
Just the way she landed, really, wasn't it? But back on her feet pretty swiftly, to the relief of Rita Guarino, I'm sure. Still be wanting to see more from that front 3, really, will the West Ham coach. How much she knows they are capable of.
I think Everton are managing them really well from a defensive point of view. They've not had too much service. I think, yes, he's probably seen the most of the ball, but Martinez hasn't really been involved that much, to be honest. And she is a player that can create, you know, goals from absolutely nothing. But at the moment, she's really struggling to get involved and get onto the ball.
Well, they've only failed to score in one of their last 8 games in the Women's Super League of West Ham, but heading towards the last 20 minutes, that is still the danger today. You won't need another reminder that they hadn't scored until the 82nd minute last week. And 2 behind, and went on to win it and set new history in this division in doing so from there. They can't rely on that every week, that is for sure. Here's Wakey. Endo, Katie Zellum, back for Rico Wakey, Morgan ahead of her, quickly closed down by Kitagawa.
Strong challenge there. Had to be Fionn Morgan enjoying a bit more of the ball out on that right-hand side, and she went for the first-time delivery. We all know what happened last week when she opted for that option.
She was the first to admit after the game that she had been intending to cross it. It dropped in and it kick-started the comeback. Of course, the second one scored by Martinez came after the goalkeeper's attempted clearance had struck her, being charged out. And they carried that momentum into stoppage time when SA went on to win the game. Still need something to click into gear, something to fall their way here if they are to turn their fortunes around on Merseyside. It hasn't been a happy hunting ground for them. This half of Merseyside anyway, failing to win in the last 5 visits. Did well to win it there, Momiki, and then takes a tumble under pressure from Cascarino. The contact came just outside the penalty area, though. It will be a yellow card for Estelle Cascarino for her part in it.
Excellent from Momiki there. Good strength. There you see. Wins the battle with Cascarino, and yeah, Cascarino pulls the arm of the shirt. Lucky for her, the contact was just outside the box, but really well played from Momiki. She's had her hands full this afternoon, Cascarino.
She has.
She's had to make those last-ditch challenges. Has really struggled at times up against the pace of Gabaro and Momiki.
She's certainly been kept busy. Momiki, having won the free kick, is going to take it here for Everton. Miki flights it in, maybe with the intention that had nobody got a touch to it, it might have snuck in at the far post. Nobody did get a touch to it, but it's whistled just wide.
Yeah, there was a lot of power on that ball delivered in. It evades everyone on the box, but it would have only needed a slice of touch. But yeah, a little bit too much on it. Sees the ball out.
So we're getting towards the stage of the game where a second for Everton might just settle the issue, but after last week I don't think I probably should venture that. But Guarino will still want to see more in attack from West Ham. It's not looked particularly likely yet, has it, the equalising goal? Whilst it's only 1-0, of course, they're still right in this, but the threats have been infrequent.
Yeah, that spark hasn't been there for West Ham in the attacking third so far. Struggled to get their key players involved. And Everton, I think, have looked quite comfortable defensively.
Here they come with Blundell on the move once more. Forward from fullback. We've seen the damage that she can do in those sort of situations, but not this time.
That was a heavy touch. She was shoulder to shoulder with Hanshaw. Little give and go. You can see what she's trying to do, the touch across Hanshaw, but just too much on it.
A little bit of space to play that forward. First time from Morgan for Asei. Martinez. We're doing her defensive duties, but there is still work to be done for Everton at the back here. Martinez not giving up on that. And still very much in the thick of things. Wakey to swing that one in. It wasn't a bad ball. Ace was underneath it, as now is Kitagawa. Here's Riku Wakey. And still trying to create the angle maybe for Katie Zellum. Could yet get another go. A little more prolonged pressure and possession from the visitors.
It's Everton this time that can't clear their lines. Waves of attack from West Ham.
Ultimately, on that occasion, nothing at the end of it as it sails through to Brosnan. Say, having stayed down. Was up against Martina Fernandez, wasn't she? Was there anything in that?
I don't think there was too much in that at all. I think she was making the run and Fernandez was just standing strong on the edge of the box. So he looks to be in pain. I don't think Fernandez could have got out the way, to be honest.
Well, this will be a concern to Rita Guarino. As she waits for word of the condition of Vivian Asei, takes the chance to impart some observations, issue some instructions for a key closing quarter of an hour or so.
You can see a little bit of dialogue there. Katie Zellum trying to G the team up. Still football to be played. That spell there just before the injury was very good from West Ham, probably the best spell yet. They just couldn't find the extra yard. The ball kept falling to Martinez, but it just wasn't on for her to take a shot, but she recycled it, and much better from West Ham.
Serving as a reminder, certainly, to Scott Phelan about the precarious position his team is still in with this slender lead. But it will be Guarino set to make a substitution shortly. Ines Balumu is going to come on. I think Everton are going to respond with a change of their own and get Zara Kramzar on in place of Vignola. Kramzar, one of the new signings, who made a debut last week. Plenty of activity on the touchline. It's going to wait a little while longer, I think. temporarily down to 10 with Say off the pitch. Quite able to keep that ball in play, Aurora Galley. It's quite striking though, just looking at the two coaches in their technical areas, the lack of relative experience of Scott Phelan in just his second game in charge in this interim role, up against Rita Guarino, a four-time title winner in Italy.
Yeah, it's quite incredible really, isn't it? And obviously Scott Phelan has come from the boys' academy, the men's side, so a whole new world for him. But in the interviews I've seen and from the work that I've seen out here, Everton today and last week against London City, he's had an immediate impact, and he talks a lot about the team being together and wanting them to enjoy it, and we've certainly seen that from this afternoon and especially last week. You know, he wants them to enjoy every moment of it, and I think when you've got players that are happy on the pitch, you start to see that.
Seems to have settled straight into the role, doesn't he? The players responding to him, they're closing in on back-to-back wins. Wood, as I mentioned, making the first Everton manager ever to win his first two games in charge in the Women's Super League.
I think if you look at the investment over the summer from Everton and the players that they've got, the quality of players, they should never really be dragged down into a relegation battle, and they've been down and about the lower ends of the table for so many seasons now.
Despite a real desire to change that, and you're right, resources have been committed to trying to change it, haven't they? It's not quite happened yet. These changes are going to happen now by the looks of things. And Tenabo is also going to come on. This will be her West Ham debut. Another of the new signings, the more recent arrivals, will take the place of Una Sharon in midfield. And Cascarino is coming off as well. Balumu introduced.
Cascarino was busy, we've mentioned already this afternoon, she'd been very busy, has had to make a lot of last-ditch tackles and challenges, and has struggled to deal with the pace up top from Everton.
They will make this alteration as well. Vignola's part is played.
Number 21, Zara Gramshaw.
It's a home debut for Zara Gramshaw, who became last weekend the first Slovenian to play in the WSL. Joined on loan from Roma for the rest of the season. She had been with Como in the first half of the campaign. There is reportedly an obligation to buy clause as part of that deal. Slovenian international into the action in place of the top scorer, Vignola. There's Momiki.
It's wasteful from Wheeler there, no real pressure at all. Plays it out.
A decent job so far at relieving any pressure, really, for the most part. Of Everton hasn't perhaps been applied with the intensity that Guarino would want. And this is the exact stage of the game, isn't it, where that Morgan cross went in last week to start the dramatic turnaround.
Yeah, I think if they need to, going to do that again, they need a impact almost immediately. Nearly there, the ball delivered in from the right-hand side. Again, falls to a blue shirt.
Zellum's cross was cleared. There is Balumu wanting to take the throw, her first involvement. Algerian in her second season since that move from Munich, joined from Bayern. It's neatly into the path of Claire Wheeler. In some space, had to take the shot on, it didn't miss by much. The goalkeeper was convinced that it was going wide, certainly hoped it was going wide because wasn't anywhere near it.
Well, it opened up for her, didn't it? West Ham players just backing up. She gets her head up, almost drags it wide of the post there. She's had a great game so far, Mamiki. She's been at the heart and soul of everything, pulling the strings. Very committed going forward.
3 of her 4 goals this season have come in the cup competitions. Just the one in the WSL so far. Although it was a notable one, a penalty against London City Lionesses. There's Martinez. It's the only penalty actually that they have had all season.
Fernandez there, just caught. Set Martinez loose. Those are the kind of areas you don't want Martinez in the ball, on the ball, just outside the penalty box. Spoke earlier about she can create chances out of nothing. West Ham just need, Everton just need to switch on. Can't afford to make any of those individual mistakes across the back line.
Concentration required, certainly at this stage, if they are to see the job through. Put themselves in an excellent position to go on and win the game from here. It's all about getting over the line for them now. Maintaining the momentum. If we had a little look at that. Towards Kramja. Gabaro. Had continued a run, just unable to get on the end of the through ball.
Yeah, the line was high from West Ham. There was space in beyond. Just too much on it, and Shimek again, good starting position.
Gosling clears it away. Kramja.
Again, excellent there. She's almost like a Jack Russell, isn't she, on the heels of the defender, not giving her a second's rest. Constantly hunting down the ball, making it really difficult.
Yeah, she's done that right the way through, hasn't she? No sign of tiredness setting in, intensity dropping in that respect. Kitagawa. Hayashi. Back to Fernandez. Although Everton still have it, it is deep in their own territory. Space though for Wheeler, plenty of it to turn and skip into, and options ahead of her as well. There's Gabaro into it. Just about got back now in numbers. Blundell perhaps thought about hitting it, instead plays it into the feet of Mamiki. Tries to return it to Hannah Blundell. And Gali, not quite as intended.
Yeah, West Ham just backing off and backing off. The space open for Wheeler in the central area of the pitch and almost inviting Everton in to take the shot. Kind of want a defender to step out, engage and make it difficult.
As I say, able to spin and shoot, and it was dipping, just not quite quickly enough. It only just clears the crossbar. It came out of very little, really.
Well, what an effort. Great first touch. Second touch takes it out of her feet and back to goal. Spins and takes the strike, and it's so close. Just over the bar, but fantastic effort from SA.
Nearly made something out of very little as West Ham make another change. Serena Puibao is on in place of Weki for the conclusion. The final 3 minutes of the 90 plus whatever is added on beyond that. Doesn't have long to make a difference, but maybe long enough for the Swiss.
Not had too many shots on goal at all, West Ham, have they? And that there from Asai, she's kind of had to create her own luck. Back to goal. Great first and second touch and just over the top of the bar.
case in point, really, of what she is capable of from very little. Everton survived that scare. Pugo brought on for the 6th league game in succession by West Ham. So they search for something, heading towards stoppage time. This would be a notable win for Everton if they can make it 3 on the bounce in a season where they struggled early in the campaign, certainly. Their most notable win was the famous one, of course, at Chelsea, but that was the exception, wasn't it, rather than the rule, which made it even more noteworthy. And of course it was Hayashi, who's got the only goal today, who got the only goal in that one as well, back in December.
Yeah, I think coming into today's game, it's definitely a huge 6-pointer for both teams. You know, it's so important when you're down in those relegation places that every game's a cup final, and most importantly, you're taking points off of those teams in and around you to give yourself a bit of space and distance at the bottom. And if Everton can see this over the line, that's 3 wins on a bounce, that's huge, and that momentum to carry them on until the end of the season will be massive in terms of confidence and mentality.
Still got some defending to do here to see it through, but they will of course do so in numbers at this point. Won 2 of their first 13 games of the WSL season. Say, trying to reach that out quickly. Came the goalkeeper out decisively. Came Courtney Brosnan and gets the decision as well.
Brosnan was like a rocket off of her line there. It was really brave. It was a great header into the path of Asai there. Brilliant. And Brosnan, only one thought in her mind, she's coming and she's throwing absolutely everything at it.
Substitution for Everton.
Gets the foul. Excellent from Brosnan.
If ever there's a moment really that sums up her approach to goalkeeping, that may well be it.
By number 33, Mas Pacheco.
So Mas Pacheco on right at the end for Everton in place of Mamiki as we go into stoppage time.
The 4th official has indicated there will be a minimum of 6 minutes.
6 more minutes from here. It's certainly not done yet.
Absolutely not, and West Ham will still believe. As long as it's 1-0, they can still believe that they're still in this.
Come on, just to try and help Everton over the line, really. Utilise her experience, the summer signing from Aston Villa. Brought that down neatly, finds Asai to bend it in, might yet come for Morgan. Did have support from Endo as well, couldn't quite pick her out. Cramshire turning into trouble, having initially offered Everton the outlet. They've lost it here, Morgan though couldn't quite reach it.
It's just rushed, isn't it? Can't keep hold of the ball. Everton doing really well in terms of getting bodies back. Just seems to be a sea of blue shirts in front of West Ham, making it really difficult for them to break it down.
Well, she's just been taken off after certainly putting in a shift. Yuka Mamiki, your player of the match.
Yeah, I thought she's been excellent. I think her work rate off the ball has been fantastic, and when she's on the ball, she's been creating for her team, always causing a problem out on that right-hand side. I thought she gave Cascarino a horrid time defensively, so yeah, I think she fully deserves for her contributions off the ball as well as on the ball.
Now has to sit and watch the final few moments unfold to discover whether she will end up on the winning team today. Still appears that way, and it has done since the 8th minute goal from Hayashi. Japanese contingent, we touched on it at the start, 3 of them will be away for Everton at the Asia Cup. Been to the fore again this afternoon.
And they're huge players for this Everton team.
By Brosnan, a measure of composure.
Say there was making the run, but it was delayed. Resulted in a comfortable save at the near post from Brosnan.
Goes Pacheco. first involvement. Stopped by Hanshaw over that. Well, he's still enjoying it.
Still smiling.
They survive the next 3 minutes without concession. That smile will be even bigger, I'm sure. As Everton's winning run set to go on. 3 wins in a row it would be, which would follow 3 successive defeats. So there was that victory at West Brom in the FA Cup as well, in between. Marino's team also progressing in that competition with their victory at Newcastle. Attention turns back to that competition next weekend for these two sides, but we still, even at this late juncture today, can't look that far ahead just yet. Big derby, of course, for Everton to come in the FA Cup 5th round at Liverpool next Sunday. West Ham at home to Brighton. Already faced a couple of times in the WSL this season.
If Everton can see this game out, sets them up really nicely for that derby in the FA Cup against Liverpool. And that's a game I'm sure Scott Phelan, who has strong loyalties to Everton, will be relishing.
Absolutely. Particularly if they can see this one through. Go into the derby with a real spring in their step. Hasn't really been the urgency. Maybe they've not been able to or allowed to bring the urgency. West Ham, isolated moments, but nothing really too sustained in search of a route back.
And I think Everton have defended very, very well. They've been organised, they've been disciplined, and they've limited West Ham to mostly half chances.
To come into that category as well, but hasn't been Martinez's day, has it, so far?
No, not seen her the best of her at all. Not allowed a lot of time on the ball. Hasn't had the deliveries for her to even be able to create any opportunities for herself. And again, I think that goes down to Everton. And whenever the ball is at Martinez's feet, they're closing her down. There's bodies around her, and they've made it really, really difficult for her to play her football.
And seconds away from seeing the job through with another clean sheet. Could be just as significant, really, as the points that they've taken under Scott Phelan so far. And a big emphasis on performance at the start of his tenure. The belief that the rewards will be reaped if they get it right. And that is full time, and that is back-to-back 1-0 wins for Everton under Scott Phelan. And it's 3 successive victories for them in the WSL for the first time in over 3 years. The early goal proved to be the only goal. It was enough for Everton today, scored by Hayashi against her former club. And they defended after that with discipline and diligence against a West Ham side who really struggled to find their threat, who had their moments but not enough of them, who weren't able to sustain the pressure in pursuit of parity. And they've fallen short, have the Hammers on Merseyside today. Everton upwardly mobile in the Women's Super League. Plenty to celebrate, plenty to smile about, but on the flip side, costly defeat for the visitors. This one, you sense 6 points now between these teams in the table. Full time, Everton 1, West Ham United 0. The contrast in emotion is all too clear on the faces at the end, Jenna. Everton didn't do it the easy way. It was in the balance right to the end, but probably just did enough to deserve the victory.
I agree. I think over the 96 minutes, I think they were the better team. I think it was a professional performance. put themselves up 1-0 up against the run of play, and then they kind of just managed the game out from them. I thought defensively they were very, very good. And going forwards, they actually had two more opportunities that if they would have taken them, would have given them that breathing space. But a really positive performance, and I think the smiles on those faces just shows, you know, new energy, new ideas coming in, and how quickly you can turn a team's confidence around. And, you know, that's 3 wins on the bounce, sets them up beautifully for the FA Cup next week against Liverpool, and they'll go into that with the belief that they can beat anyone, with that confidence and a huge mentality shift.
See what it means. They really are generating some momentum now. We can hear from the player of the match. Yuka Mamiki of Everton is speaking to Steve.
Yuka, congratulations. A very dedicated performance from Everton today.
Yeah, I think this game was not easy to play because we know every game is tough, but I think 3 wins in a row is massive in the league. So, yeah, big team effort today.
Scored early, it meant you had to manage the game for a long period of time.
I think we tried to score another goal, but yeah, they put the ball in behind us, so I think our defensive is really massive today.
That's 2 wins back-to-back here at Goodison Park. What does that mean to the team?
I think this season has been a little bit tough to be playing at home ground, but I think we're building our winning mentality at home. So I think this result shows our mentality.
Well, congratulations, you are the Barclays player of the match.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, her performance really summed up the Everton display, didn't it? The spirit that they needed, the work rate that went into it. And that little bit of extra quality maybe in the end to get the job done, to claim the points. And she touched on it, Yuka, there. Back-to-back wins at Goodison Park is huge as they try and make this place feel like their home.
Yeah, definitely, and they've got that now. They've got that confidence when they're playing at home that they can get the results over the line. And, you know, at home in front of your fans, with your fans behind you, it's really could be the start of something special here for Everton.
6 straight home defeats to start the season, but back-to-back wins now after the victory over Villa. And then here today, and successive clean sheets for Everton when factoring in the win at London City Lionesses as well. There's a certain satisfaction, isn't there, particularly for Scott Phelan to start with those 2 results.
Definitely, and I think it's that confidence that it builds. The players, they trust the manager, and it's, you know, I've touched on it many, many times. You know, he's an Evertonian. He's lived and breathed the club as a player and a manager, you know, so he knows what it takes, and you know, I guess the DNA of what it takes to be an Everton player. You've got to live and breathe it. You've got to play for the badge on your shirt, and we've seen that. And now that's 3 wins on a bounce. They've given themselves breathing space from those at the bottom of the table now to kick on and, you know, try and finish this season as high up as they can.
And they're currently looking upwards. West Ham still over their shoulders, though, after this defeat. They did win their last away game at Leicester. That looks even more important given the way that results have gone since then. But they're still in a real scrap, aren't they, at the foot of the standings? Yeah,
they definitely are, and I think today we didn't see the best of them. And if they're going to pick up points in the second half of this season, they've got to bring their best every game, or else you will be on the back end of poor results. And they've got the quality out there. They've got, you know, the talent within their team to grind results out. They've just got to get their best players more involved than they were today.
She called for consistency, Rita Guarino, but it's still a little lacking in the evidence of this display. Work to do for West Ham United after this defeat. Let's have a look back at the best of the action for you. Here are the highlights from an eventful affair at Goodison Park, certainly in the early stages of the game. Remember, only 3 points separating them at the start, but it was Everton who created the first glimpse of goal, and that's all it was really for Inma Gabaro. She looked to make the most of it.
Yeah, Muslim made that opportunity for herself. Beautiful first touch to set herself up, but can't keep it on target, always leaning back.
Would have been some goal. Last week's match winner was involved in the build-up here as well, as Everton got numbers forward in support of the attack. Mamiki playing the pass for Hannah Blundell, her ball in, presented Onoki Hayashi with the relatively straightforward task of slotting in the game's opening goal.
Yeah, West Ham backline switched off. Mamiki with the perfectly weighted pass into Blundell. Takes the cross on first time, and Hayashi there with a really simple tap-in, unmarked at the back post. Easy chance for her to take.
Fourth goal of her season, equalling her total for the entirety of the previous campaign, coming against her former club. Half a chance here for Claire Wheeler. The angle against her, really trying to squeeze that one in.
Yeah, it was a difficult one to execute there. Tight angle. Just trying to sneak it into the near post.
West Ham had enjoyed plenty of possession in the first half, but all of the chances, really, the most notable ones anyway, were being created by the home side. This one hadn't been dealt with when the cross came in. It came for Gabaro, and Shamek was there to make the stop.
Yeah, Shamek. Big save. Hanshaw can't clear the lines, plays it into the path of Grabello, and there. Top save from Shazmik.
Whilst it stayed at 1-0, there was always the chance for West Ham, but never really did he sense it was looking likely. Nor could Everton score the second. Brilliantly done initially by Gabaro there to tee herself up, but Shamek with another important stop.
Yeah, Shamek, she stands big, and in the end she makes the save with her foot. Gabriello, beautiful first touch with the chest, and then there you see the foot of Shazmik keeping her team still in the fixture.
Yeah, kept them in touch. Ensured West Ham still had plenty to push for at the end, but they were to fall short. That was the effort from Katie Zellum, turned over the top by Brosnan.
Yeah, it was really good build-up play from West Ham there, and Zellum keeps Bronson off guard, but Bronson makes no mistakes and parries it over the bar.
It was to be their last chance of note, with the full-time whistle going not long afterwards. There's the results from elsewhere, one that draws the attention of the former Spurs captain, Jenna Scalacci, certainly. They scored 7 today in winning at Aston Villa, 7-3 in favour of the visitors. All over as well in West London, where Chelsea have beaten Liverpool by 2-0, a goal in each half. Manchester United did get the job done. They had to come back from behind to beat London City Lionesses, who suffer successive defeats. Manchester United winners by 2-1 in second place in the table to cut that gap on Manchester City. 6-0 winners on Friday night. Spurs going one better in terms of the scoring stakes this weekend. And a reminder that the game between Brighton and Arsenal that was scheduled to kick off shortly has been postponed because of the weather. Well, Scott Phelan has become the first Everton manager to win his first 2 games in charge in the WSL. Let's hear from him. He's with Steve.
Scott, congratulations. What pleased you about your side today?
Actually, what we spoke about before the game. You know, there has to be a togetherness, an application of wanting to work hard for ourselves, and we spoke about the foundations that are going to help us move forward and hopefully collect more wins, regardless of league position, almost non-negotiables, and a lot of them are present today. At times, we weren't as good as maybe what we could have been in possession of the ball, which means we probably had to defend a little bit without conceding too many chances. They certainly probably had a little bit more control in the first half than we would have liked. But the fact that our effort, energy and enthusiasm, togetherness again, willingness to defend and compete, just got us through them sticky moments. And again, as a framework moving forward, they will always be our foundations. Of course, whilst we are learning about each other and how we want to try and play, to win games of football when you're not at your best is a massive achievement, and we're just happy and really proud of the players in terms of the effort that they put in today.
When you score that early in the game, it takes a lot to manage a 1-0 for another 80 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and the goal was really good. I thought that was an exciting goal. We travelled through the pitch with some speed. We've asked the girls to recognise moments to probably play forward a little bit sooner, add a little bit more direction to our game, and that goal was a good example of that. But you're right, there was a long way to go, and without feeling like our goal was under too much threat, again, we just had moments where we had to stick together and defend, and we did that, and ultimately them 2 moments combined with a few more that might have gone our way, attempts at goal, we've ended up coming out with the victory.
First manager to win back-to-back games in the WSL, and it's 2 back-to-back victories here at Goodison Park.
Yeah, listen, we spoke about Goodison and how happy we are to use it as our home stadium, but we want to make the most of it, and we want opposition teams to come here and feel the difference. They go away knowing that they've been in a real tough game, and hopefully West Ham have felt a little bit of that today in certain moments. We want more, and you know, the recent form, 2 wins obviously in the last week, 1 before that which we can't forget. That's massive credit to the girls and the staff that were already here and are still present. So yeah, you know, as a start we couldn't have asked for much more.
And just finally now, you switch your attention to the FA Cup and the small matter of the Merseyside derby. As a proud Evertonian, what's that going to mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. It means a lot to the city, not just me. You know, we live in a football city, and there's certain games throughout the calendar that we look for, and Liverpool will be one of them. This is an added extra because it's a cup game. Normally we played them twice, but we've got them 3 times with the cup. So definitely exciting, and added extra of we wanted to use the FA Cup as a moment to add some excitement to the season as well, and that's definitely something that's on our radar. The fact that it happens to be Liverpool as well makes it extra exciting.
Thank you, Scott. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. See you again.
The thoughts of Scott Phelan then after another win for Everton. 2 1-0 victories in his first 2 matches in charge. They are upwardly mobile. They've got the job done here at Goodison Park today, and this is what it's done to the table. Everton in 8th position, but certainly moving well clear in terms of points now, aren't they, from those below them. They have an 8-point gap between themselves and Leicester City, who prop up the rest. And importantly this afternoon, they've put 6 points between themselves and West Ham United, sitting just 2 above the bottom of the table where they started the day. Beaten here at Goodison, it was Everton's day. Thanks very much for your company. We'll leave you with a final score of Everton 1, West Ham United 0.